Hey, fellow leaders, welcome back to another episode of Living the Sweet Life. I'm your host, TJ Sweet, and on this podcast, we are committed to helping you go from where you are to where you want to be, whether that's in your own personal life, whether that's how you lead, or maybe how your business is going, or maybe your organization is going. If you have some goals, we're here to help you bridge that gap. So thank you every Monday, every Mindset Monday, for tuning into these episodes and reminding yourself that you're able to learn and grow. And it doesn't take that much time. These episodes are meant to be small and short enough and small enough for you to be able to absorb as much as possible while still giving you insights and calls to action so that you can start turning your knowledge into wisdom by taking action. So if you haven't hit subscribe yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you get notifications when these episodes come out every Monday. So as we dive into, multiple leadership topics, how do we kind of rebuild and cultivate this sense of intentional employee morale in these times of uncertainty? Because when we talk about times of uncertainty, I don't just mean in the workplace. Yes, there are going to be things that we don't anticipate that happen at work, but this culture, this world that we live in is full of uncertainty. And before I go too far into this episode, I just really want to reiterate a topic that we talk quite a bit about. But one of the number one ways to reduce uncertainty in our lives is, I know it sounds simple, is to create certainty. But the way we do that is by being present in the moment. So one of the things that I've done in my life and in my career that has helped me handle uncertainty better and differently is my habit of practicing gratitude. So when we stop and think about who we are, what we have, what we get to do, the people we get to do it for, when we stop and really think about the things that we do have, right, it turns it into everything that we need. And so even though things around us may be changing, if we focus on what we're grateful for, we understand that no matter what changes around us, things that we can't control, there are certain things that we're grateful for that we can always rely on. So this idea of reducing uncertainty is tough, but there are certainly ways that we can do this. And so this week, we're going to talk a lot about how to kind of rebuild this employee morale in the times of uncertainty. Because, uncertainty, as we know, is a stressor in any workplace. Whether brought on by, economic shifts that make it more stressful inside and outside of work, but maybe even in your business as well. Maybe there's organizational restructuring or just these mounting workloads that happen. It can leave employees feeling disengaged, anxious, and undervalued. But for leaders, these are just challenging moments. And those moments are opportunities to kind of rise above and inspire this renewed energy and commitment within their teams. But it takes intentional effort. So rebuilding morale doesn't require these grand gestures. It's about creating a culture where employees feel seen, heard, valued, and appreciated and supported. And, I've received specialized training from Gallup and the Neuro Leadership Institute to help really get to the brain science of how to improve morale of your team. So, that you start to see them as people first and employees second. How can you always see your team and how you always see your team will always lead to how you treat your team. So we're going to talk about some strategies to reignite some passion, restore some trust, and reinforce the resilience of your team. Help them remind them of who they already are. One great way to do this, the first thing is really recognize achievements, big and small. When times are tough, it's easy to overlook the efforts that your team puts in every day. Again, effort cultivates effort. You'll hear me say that a couple times. Recognition is one of the most simple and most powerful ways to uplift the morale. When you celebrate progress, not just results. So highlighting milestones, kind of like, the steps that you take to get there, even if at the end goal hasn't even been achieved yet, let your team know that their efforts are making a difference and that they're moving towards the organizational goals. And recognizing effort cultivates this desire to give meaningful effort. But you have to make it personal. Instead of generic praise and, offer this idea of, tailored feedback that acknowledges individual contributions. For example, instead of saying, you can say your creativity is solving that client issue that was inspiring and critical to our success, the way that they did that, right? But another really great and powerful way is we have to create it. We have to make it easy for the employees and our team members to recognize each other. So during meetings, allow colleagues to lift each other up and celebrate each other, building this camaraderie, making people feel seen, and make it easy to recognize great work that your team is doing and encourage in the moment recognition opportunities. Have to make it easy to do that. We also have to prioritize open communication. So uncertainty kind of breeds this fear, and fear thrives in silence. Leaders can combat this by cultivating a culture of transparency and open dialogue. And we have to be honest, even when it's hard. People would rather know something and not love it, but then be kept in the dark and not know the real news, right? So even if the news isn't perfect, we have to be sharing that with them, because honesty builds trust and reduces anxiety. And you have to create these listening opportunities so people can feel comfortable sharing in one-on-ones or in team meetings when they feel safe sharing their concerns and worries and what they're uncertain about. Acknowledge their input and act on what you can. But we have to be consistent in what we're saying and how we're saying it. So keep your communication clear and consistent across all channels to avoid miscommunications, confusion, and mixed signals. And you can reignite their purpose through shared goals. So when uncertainty is, within the team, it can kind of make the team feel like they need some guidance and direction. So when you actually focus on purpose, a shared purpose reminds them why their work matters and makes them want to do it more consistently. Help them reconnect to their mission. Share stories about the organization's work and impact on customers and communities, or maybe even in the industry. These stories can reignite a sense of pride and purpose, and really it helps them align their individual roles with the bigger goals and help employees see how their unique contributions tie into the larger picture. Purpose-driven teams are naturally more resilient. Another great thing you can do to reduce uncertainty is do some team building. I know those are buzzwords, but work really, to foster collaboration and momentum and this collective accomplishment. Again, when people recognize that who they're with, they'll feel more certain about the work they get to do and why it matters. But leadership isn't just about driving results. It's about nurturing people who achieve them. So tough times call for empathetic and emotional intelligent leaders. Again, we are responsible for the people that we get to lead. So check in, not just check on. So go beyond these task updates and actually sit down and ask people, how are they doing? Ask them what's been on their mind lately. When you ask a question like that, it's open-ended question. It can lead to meaningful conversations. But there's also things we have to do with that information. So there's mental health tools and counseling and stress management workshops that we can work on to help the employees navigate challenging periods. We can't ignore those moments. But we also have to model our own resilience. So demonstrate emotional resilience by being vulnerable about your own challenges as a leader. But really what that does is it shows confidence in the team's ability to overcome obstacles together. It's important to create opportunities for growth and development. And one of the best ways to boost and sustain morale is to remind employees of their potential. Growth and development instills this hope and ambition and this sense of progress, even in the moments of uncertainty. One of the other things that we can do that we should be doing all the time, not just in times of uncertainty, is kind of offering these training programs or mentorship opportunities to help employees enhance their skills and feel valued, and give them some stretch assignments, right? So stretch assignments can, kind of give this step into their new roles, or give them something towards working on or building their confidence or their engagement. And you can kind of promote this learning mindset. And so encouraging curiosity and celebrating lessons from challenges and fostering a culture of innovation and adaptability. But learning from real life examples, you have to understand that, we can't just play in this hypothetical world. During one of the economic downturns that we had in 2008, a company that I've worked with, they doubled down on employee development by offering free courses and mentorship programs and recognition campaigns. Instead of losing morale back then, the company saw this surge, like this great improvement in employee engagement, which propelled their recovery and long-term growth. And, that is still sustained today because it became a trusted culture. I asked them how they got there, and they pointed back to that time of uncertainty. So what is your leadership challenge is rebuilding morale, right? It doesn't happen overnight, but small, consistent actions can create a powerful ripple effect that's sustained. Start by writing down 3 small actions you can take this week to show your team that they're valued. Maybe their efforts are valued more than just the outcome. Could you possibly send a personalized thank you note to an employee that's doing really well? Could you share an inspiring story that reconnects your team to the organization or the business's mission? And lastly, could you schedule a one-on-one to really listen and support a team member that's struggling? So as you implement one of those 3 steps, remember that rebuilding morale isn't just about surviving through tough times. It's not about just going through them. It's about growing through them. It's about building a stronger and more connected team for the future. And if you find yourself even struggling with this independently, if you're ready to dive deeper into cultivating this high performance culture that is able to handle uncertainty and adversity, as a coach and a speaker, I work with leaders like you all the time to turn those challenges into opportunities for transformation. We build a lot and we learn a lot when we're uncomfortable. We can work together so you can build a workplace that, the morale thrives no matter what, not just in good times. So reach out to me if it's something that you're interested in, because we know uncertainty is going to happen. We are certain of that. We know changes are going to come. We know that adversity is going to come, but we have to understand we can't wish for less problems. We have to be committed to getting better at handling those problems. So the way that we create certainty has to be with intention, and it has to be something that we do with the team in mind, but also something that can be sustained no matter what uncertainty comes, no matter what changes happen. Again, the one thing we know about change is that it will always be around. But let's just learn how to get better at changing instead of trying to fight the change or hope that change doesn't come. So when you stop and think about how to do this with your team, I would love to connect with you, whether it's, again, through coaching or coming to speak to your team. There's lots of meaningful ways and lots of intentional habits that can help create certainty and also build your team in new ways so that they feel inspired whenever a challenge comes along, instead of nervous or scared or afraid whenever challenges come. So I hope this episode really maybe some of you business leaders and maybe some of you leaders in general, this episode is timely. Maybe there's some uncertainty in your business that you're just not sure what to do with. Hopefully this episode kind of resonates and helps you create more certainty so that your team can learn and grow and be at their best at work, for each other, and for the people that they get to serve. Hope this episode is something that you share with other people, you share with other leaders, because this is one of the most common things that I hear a lot as an executive coach. I hear a lot of people reach out to talk to me about this. And so I would love and be grateful if you were to share this with other people, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. Again, every Mindset Monday, these episodes come out to help you win the week by winning Monday. And I'll remind you, like I do every week, that you always have the power and the choice to reshape your mindset, live with intention, and look at the world through a grateful lens. Until the next episode, never stop.